But let's get into that 12-6 Rams win over the 49ers with our Roto-World player news. A monsoon, Matthew.
And what's
monsoon?
And I heard no one talking about this weather at all. Jay, the line didn't move at all either.
No, it didn't. To be fair, the weather was a factor clearly in the first half. It shouldn't have been that much of a factor, though. I think that Stafford and Purdy were just playing really poorly, and that accentuated the conditions. But no, I wasn't expecting a 12-6 game for the game that had the second highest total of the week.
You see it there on your screen. Puka, Kyron, Garendo, and Kittle all were passable. Not the games you would hope from any of them, other than maybe Puka. But everyone else, they were passable. But everyone else, Purdy, Samuel, Juwan Jennings, Stafford, brutal. Cooper Kupp. Yeah, Purdy was absolutely awful. As you see it there at the bottom of your screen, the first game without a catch for my little Cooper Kupp since 2019. Let's get into that. It was just an ugly, awful game. Normally, sometimes I fall asleep after I've had a little bit too much Pinot Grigio. I'm on the couch watching these games and I snooze a little bit. This one, it wasn't alcohol induced. It was just a terrible, boring game, and I had to wake up. The one thing I really like about the Amazon games is though you can start from the beginning, you can rewind, you can pause. Like I do enjoy watching the game on the streaming networks for that purpose. The other thing that I just want to bring up, and then we'll get into like the player performance here. But once again, that little theory that me and my buddy have, when a team with a winning record is getting points from a team with a losing record, you take the points, you take the team. And once again, the Rams were underdogs in this game. The Rams that have a winning record, I believe, went off at 2.5-point underdogs. Went off as 2.5-point underdogs to San Francisco, who had a losing record going into this game. That record is 8-3. If you just did nothing but bet that, that's 8-3 this season. Mostly thanks to the Jets being favored and constantly losing.
It's a way to make money. That's why I followed that pathway in this game. Rams +3, easy cash. Rams money line.
Was it 3 or 2.5 that went off?
I got it at 3. I think it
closed.
Like
a juice 3.
It might have closed at 2.5. It doesn't matter. I mean, if you took Rams money line, you did really well.
That was your best bet. Was
+3.
Rams +3, and that obviously cashed as well. Our best bets did not, Jay.
No. But you got in at the buzzer, I thought.
Did he? I thought it was in the second half. Did he have?
Yours was Deebo Samuel 10+ yards in the first quarter.
In the first quarter.
The last play of the first quarter. I couldn't believe our group wasn't texting about this, so I thought I was wrong, so I didn't text about this.
I thought so
they
too.
They throw Deebo a screen. He's already got 5 yards.
Right.
He falls forward for the 5th yard, and I checked the box score. It was 10 yards after the first quarter.
Oh, okay. I thought
at the literally the buzzer.
Let's go.
Yes.
Let's go. I didn't think I hit the bet. That's fantastic.
Yes.
Let's go.
Yeah, so 2 for
That's
3.
2 for 3.
Yeah. Well, my bet lost.
You've been sizzling for about 5 weeks now, to be fair.
Yes.
I know our guy that tracks the bets had messaged me. You were on a wild run.
Wasn't expecting 7 punts in the first quarter of Rams 49ers.
Some good punts.
Yeah, some damn good punting.
Punts. You had the Rams team total, obviously. The teams combined didn't get to the Rams team total. It just an ugly, brutal game here, guys. Do you guys want to talk about the little that's good or everything that's bad?
Let's go through the bad first, because Cooper Kupp managers, you drink for free today. I mean, my God, if you're in the fantasy playoffs, well, I don't know if we should clap. We're clapping.
No, it's just awful. By the way, I'm one of the people that drink for free. I'm in a dynasty league. I'll say that. So I'm in a dynasty league with a bunch of my former ESPN friends, my former colleagues. They're still my friends. They're not my former friends. They're still my friends, but my former ESPN colleagues. And I'm in a playoff matchup against Mike Clay, and in our dynasty league. And I have been building this team slowly. I have Cooper Kupp. Mike Clay has Puka Nacua. Good times.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah, so I'm off. We're evenly projected. He has a really good team. My team is really good as well. Would have helped if I hadn't lost Chris McCaffrey in that league. But anyway, we'll see how that plays out. But yes, as we sit here today, I'm down because Mike had Puka and I had Cooper Kupp.
One of my favorite ever betting memories was betting on Cooper Kupp to win Super Bowl MVP plus 800 the year of Rams Bengals. I'm at the game at SoFi, see Kupp catching the game-winning touchdown in the end zone. Never take that away from me. One of the great betting moments. I reckon I lost about 15% of my goodwill to Cooper Kupp after last night because he's on my team against Big Show. And the thing is not that he put up a goose egg. It's like there was never even a sniff. He had nothing. He had a few targets. The ball wasn't near him. And he was just a complete non-entity. It felt like there was a point where McVay just decided, we're just not losing this game through the air. We'll just run the ball.
And here's your matchup against Big Show. So you were very similar to me against Mike Clay. You have Cooper Kupp. Big Show had Puka. You also had George Kittle, and you get you get 10 points out of out of Kittle. Like, that's fine for a tight end. Yeah, I mean, this was not good. Not a good day at the office for the Grape Slappers.
No, and now I'm in a position where, having gotten 0 from Kupp, the Gorendo effectively meets his projection, but now I'm playing from behind, so now in variance. So I picked up Tommy DeVito, and I think I'm going to start Tommy DeVito over Russell Wilson, because I don't know where the upside comes from with Russ. At least Tommy DeVito could be in a blowout and be running around and throwing junk time to Malik Neighbors. I feel better about Tommy DeVito putting up 20 points than I do. Like, who's Russ throwing to? Like, where are the 20 points coming from?
With no Pickens, because we're not expecting him to play. Right.
Against a really good Eagles defense.
He's not going to run around, but could there be junk time for DeVito? They're 16.5-point underdogs to the Ravens at this point. Their secondary is beat up. Right. Could he get a long one to Malik Neighbors? Could he run around? Could he get you 40 yards rushing? Yeah. Could he fall into the end zone?
He's bad, but he could be fantasy-friendly bad.
Yes, 1,000% correct, and you're welcome, because I had Tommy DeVito, and I waived him. Last week because it was a bye, and like I had I was starting Drew Lock, and I just needed the roster spot. I didn't need 2 Giants quarterbacks, and now I have Josh Allen and Jaden Daniels back for this week. This is where we're on a bye.
This is how it's gone for the Grape Slappers. We were the 07 Patriots at mid-season, an absolute juggernaut, and then Connor screwed me. Because he traded me Cooper Kupp.
Yeah.
Connor is a plant, a big show plant.
Yeah. You saved my fantasy
given him
season.
Sam Darnold and Baker Mayfield, who, by the way, would be very welcome to be started over Tommy DeVito this week.
It's really funny.
This is how it's gone. From 07 Patriots, losing in the... I'm not even going to make the Super Bowl. Yeah, basically, yeah. Now I'm current Patriots. Now I'm relying on Tommy DeVito.
That is actually ridiculous.
It's a juggernaut.
Big Show reminded me, we are the Tracksuit Mafia. You don't make trades with the Tracksuit Mafia. It is hilarious that
I traded with J.K. Dobbins. That's what I are.
You were starting Tommy DeVito in the playoffs, and I have to pick between Herbert, Darnold, and Baker Mayfield, 2 of the 3.
Unbelievable. Fantasy Life commenter. Looking
demon.
good. The Grape Slappers, not so much. We'll see if you can mount a comeback against Big Show. We'll track that quickly. But Cooper Kupp, just mind-boggling, right? 11.5% target share. It's his only second game this year with under 20%. 2019 against Pittsburgh. Week 10 of 2019 against Pittsburgh. That's the only other time in Cooper Kupp's career where he's had 0 receptions and 0 fantasy points. Just like a brutal game any week of the season, but to do it this week in a great matchup. Week 15, the first week of the fantasy playoffs, is just awful. I mean, you guys know I love Cooper Kupp, but this was bad. This is really, really bad.
It was kind of a bad feeling after the first 2 drives where Stafford should have been picked on both of them.
Yeah.
Those are the things, like, everyone's going to focus on Purdy, and we'll get to Purdy, and Purdy was horrific. Stafford was just as bad
the first half
in the first half. And everyone's kind of like, it's all washed away because they won the game. He was horrendous in the first half. It's not just he was missing, he's missing.
No,
I don't know what Hufanga was doing. I guess
he couldn't believe the ball was just hit him in the chest.
There was another one. Like, Stafford was a 0 out of 10 in the first half, and then they kind of got right, and he has the big throw to Puka, but just a disaster all around offensively. And in a way that cannot just be explained by the weather. Like, the weather was a factor. The weather doesn't mean that Matthew Stafford has to throw the ball directly to Hufanga like that.
Especially to start the game.
Yeah.
The monsoon really picked up in the second quarter, not the first quarter.
Yeah, and also, first quarter was fine. Second half was fine as well.
Right,
It's not weather in the second.
So 70% of the game was okay.
But I think, given how bad Stafford looked, and given like the weather, and given like a fact that the game was 12-6, it just makes what Puka Nacua did even more impressive. Since he returned from IR in Week 6, this guy's the 4th best wide receiver in fantasy football, puts up almost 18 fantasy points in a game where they didn't score a touchdown. And so 7 for 97. He gets the 2 runs for 11 yards as well. And so Puka's had over 100 total yards in 4 of the past 5 games. So for him to put up fantasy production in a game in which almost no one else did just sort of solidifies him, I think, as a top 5 overall pick next year.
Yeah, I mean, to me, it's Jefferson, Chase, Puka, and CD, and they're tier 1 by themselves. Then it's a big drop-off. Like, A.J. Brown doesn't get to be in that top tier anymore with how
Amon-Ra St. Brown doesn't with the way that the Lions spread the ball. You're right.
You know who the dark horse will be? And he's not there yet, I want to be clear. But if the Giants get a real quarterback, it's Malik Neighbors.
Yep.
Because he could be the CD Lamb of that offense. Yep. That's the target share. But you're right,
Also,
you don't know what they have right now.
I'm not sure like Brian Thomas is that far from being potentially
with a healthy
in that
Trevor
kind of
Lawrence
route.
and more targets.
Brian Lawrence has been screwed out about 400 yards this year between
Thomas,
penalties. I think that Brian Thomas, maybe next year is too early, but I think he will eventually become that kind of guy in the league.
He's on his way. Him, Ladd McConkey, who of course has been McConkulous all year long. It hasn't been as much of a rookie explosion as we thought, Connor.
That's good,
but
though.
It feels like there's a number of hits. And I think Harrison will ultimately get there as well.
And he's been fine. We just thought he'd be great.
Right.
That's the problem with that. Where you drafted him, you expected him to be great.
Marvin Harrison. Be great for him to show up for the Grapesuckers. Marvin Harrison's been on a relative milk carton all season. Need for the milk carton to explode into touchdowns.
I think he has a big game this week. He was on the love list this week. I think you get a good game from Marvin Harrison Jr. And I think people, including me, that are starting Kyler Murray in their fantasy matchups, will get up. I have Kyler Murray on that same dynasty team that I have Cooper Kupp, so I need Kyler, man. Come on, I've been with you all season. I'm a begging, please. Big game, Kyler.
Hey, it's Matthew Berry from NBCSports.com and RotoWorld.com, and I want to thank you so much for watching whatever it is you just watched, or if nothing else, being too lazy to click out of the autoplay after this video started, after whatever it is you actually wanted to watch finished. But now that you're here, I'd like to take a moment here to ask you respectfully now, okay? I'm asking you respectfully to subscribe to the NFL on NBC YouTube channel. You'll get the latest RotoWorld fantasy news headlines, all sorts of great shows, including my own Fantasy Football Happy Hour. So go subscribe now. Again, I'm asking respectfully.